In this video, I will give you a short introduction to chapter 3 of the book, The Business of Marketing Research, called Marketing Research Deliverable, Communications and Activation. And I'll be giving a few tips on how to have more impact with your marketing research. So let's assume you've designed your research, you've done your field work, you did all the analysis, and you're ready to share the results. Now, many times market researchers will write their research findings in a report, either a Word or a PowerPoint format. And often the researcher is then invited to present the findings at a presentation where some key people are invited to listen and ask questions. And as market research professionals, we expect our audience, the key stakeholders often in an organization, to get inspired by our super interesting consumer insights, right? We expect our research to have a real impact on the organization. Unfortunately, very often the reality is different. First, many of these market research reports tend to be these big, bulky research reports full of detailed findings. And these reports, they show all the answers to all the questions that we ask our respondents. They're filled with interesting facts and less interesting facts, and often the real interesting stuff is very well hidden inside these boring reports. They're dense with data, dense with tables, bar charts, and as a result, the key people in the organization, they don't read the reports and no decisions are taken. Right? So in reality, the researchers are often asked to come to present the findings so the stakeholders don't need to read these big data reports. And these presentations, these are our chance to shine, right? They're our chance to excite our audience with these super interesting consumer insights and inspire them to act on these insights. But unfortunately, as researchers, we're not always able and not always capable to keep our audience entertained. As researchers, we want to show them all our findings, all the data, all the charts, but our audience, they want to be entertained. So how do we change all of this? What can we as market researchers do to bring the consumer voice to the heart of the organization? How do we excite our audience? How do we inspire them to act? Now, in summary, there are 3 secret ingredients to this. It's insights, communications and impact. In other words, make sure that you find the relevant and inspiring consumer insights and focus your story on these insights. Any other research findings, however interesting you might find them, they all go to the appendix. And next, we use storytelling techniques to communicate these consumer insights. I'll briefly discuss the pyramid principle as a storytelling technique, but there are many other techniques you can think of. And finally, make sure that your research has an impact on the organization. Make sure that people in the company take decisions based on your research. That means you may want to use a workshop instead of a presentation to share your key insights, right? Or show the profit that a company will make if they follow your recommendations. So insights, communications and impact. And don't be afraid to be creative or a little provocative when you share the key insights of your research. Dare to shake things a little bit up. Bring some real consumers or actors to the presentation, for example. Invite stakeholders to a real consumer's kitchen to see how consumers use your products in real life. Use videos. Remember, your audience may forget what you told them, but they won't forget how you make them feel. So first, what's an insight? An insight is an important consumer problem that needs to be resolved. It has a tension and it has a sense of urgency. Without tension, it's an obvious truth. For example, consumers are interested in chocolate. Consumers drink less beer in favor of wine. Consumers choose more often low sugar and low calorie variants. No, these examples can be interesting facts and they show some knowledge of the market, but they're not consumer insights. A good way to formulate an insights with tension is to use the I, or the consumer, but, and the therefore framework, right? So it starts with a truth, I, followed by an aspiration or attention, that's the but, and then the impact that it has on me, that's the therefore. For example, I know that I need to drink half a liter of water a day, but I don't have the time or I forget to drink enough water. Therefore, I always feel like I'm not accomplishing my daily health goals. Another example, I know sugar is not healthy, but I don't know how to reduce the sugar from my daily diet. Therefore, I'm stuck with my regular full sugar dinners. So a great consumer insight sparks innovation. It should immediately make you think of ideas on how to resolve the tension. So look for these relevant consumer insights in the data. Insights that you can use and that you can act on. So now that we have a few relevant consumer insights, we need to think, how do we communicate these findings? How do we communicate these insights? And for these, we need storytelling techniques. Because, a report with 100 bar charts, that's not a story. So, we've all grown up with stories as kids. We all recognize a good story. And every story has a structure. They got a main characters, they got a conflict, they got settings, they got an event. The same goes for a market research report. A great report has a strong story structure. It will show you very briefly, and I will show you very briefly, two structures that I tend to use in my reports. The first is called situation, complication, resolution. So the situation, for example, people are drinking more beer than ever before. The complication is that the increase of consumption is mainly from microbreweries, and as a result, the market share of my beer brand is going down. Now the resolution can be for the beer brand to quickly launch a range of craft beers. Now another very useful structure is a pyramid principle. This is made famous by Barbara Minto. In this structure, you start with a single thought, the answer to the main question. For example, the company should launch a range of craft beers. Under this main thought, you list 3, but it calls it 2, 3, 4 main evidences as your proof points, why you think this is true. Now this should be the structure of your report, right? Any other data that's not supporting these proof points, they go in the appendix. Now these are two very powerful story structures that can improve the quality of any market research report. Now the third ingredient is impact. How do you inspire your audience to act, make a decision, launch a new product, reposition the brand, change the price of the product, etc. Now I'll briefly share two simple things that you can do to increase the likelihood that your report has an impact. One, translate your insights into real business recommendations, right? Don't just say consumers are looking for a low sugar dinner alternative. Follow up with a recommendation that a company, for example, should come with an innovative low sugar dinner product that can lead to an increase of 5% market share or $12 million, for example. Now that will wake your audience up. And a powerful tool is to use a power page. Sort of in one page, you summarize your key recommendations and the hypothetical impact on your organization. Second idea is to make the presentation of the results interactive with the audience. Let them discuss the insights and let them come up with ideas for new products, new brand positioning, etc. themselves. This is called a workshop. And people are much more likely to follow up on ideas that they came up themselves than ideas that we present to them. So in summary, the 3 ingredients to inspire your stakeholders with the results of your market research: make sure you have insights, communicate with storytelling, and show impact. Make sure you have impact. Good luck.